Hi, this is Denise, and my group and I are going to talk about relationships in college. Building relationships during college is very important. For most students, college is a new environment where they can meet and interact with people from different backgrounds. So, my group and I are going to focus mostly on the four stages of a relationship and talk about every single one.
The first stage is beginning relationships. In this stage, you begin a relationship, you meet new people, and you see whether or not it's worth developing into an actual relationship. One important theory throughout this stage is the predicted outcome value theory. According to Frank and Ramirez, this theory focuses on the potential future that one might see with their potential partner based on evaluating them. So there are three phases within this stage. There's the entry phase, the personal phase, and the exit phase. The entry phase is just introducing yourself to someone. So about level 1 questions, what's your favorite food? Where do you go to school? What's your favorite sport? What are you majoring in? Things like that. After this phase, you start to eliminate these potential partners based on, did you see eye to eye on things? Did you like their personality? Were they rude? Were they funny? Things like that. After that, you move to the personal phase, and with these potential partners, you become more personal with them. So you get to know them on a deeper level. What are their values, religious beliefs, things like that. And again, you do the same thing after this phase. You do the elimination process based on, did you see eye to eye? Did you like, did they value what you valued, etc. And then you move into the exit phase, which is when you decide, is it worth moving on to develop into an actual relationship? One main takeaway that I learned throughout my research is that the predicted outcome value theory actually suggests that your first impressions of someone is how the relationship will continue. So for example, if you have a good first impression of someone or a good encounterment with them, you're going to want to continue to get to know them and learn about them and see if it's worth developing into an actual relationship. Likewise, if you have a bad first impression or a bad first encounterment with someone, you're probably going to avoid getting to know them any further. You're going to want to stop continuing that friendship or relationship. So for example, college students, I'm a freshman, and I know that a lot of freshmen, when they first move to college, they want to go out a lot with new people to make new friends and make new friendships and relationships, etc. And I think everyone has the natural gut instinct. So if they were to meet someone and have a bad first encounterment with them, they would probably want to avoid getting to know them any further because they just didn't feel comfortable. But if it was a good first impression and a good first encounterment, they probably would want to continue getting to know them so they could continue on in their friendship or relationship. So that is the beginning relationship stage, and next is the developing stage.
The stage of the relationship stages is the developing stage. In the developing stage, we take the relationships that we made in the beginning stage and we begin to pick and choose which relationships we want to continue and which ones we'd like to terminate. There are two theories that help us describe this, the interpersonal needs theory and the social exchange theory. According to Motet and Beebe in 2006, the interpersonal needs theory is a theory that explains why we choose certain relationships over others, and that includes how included we feel in the relationship, how cared for we feel, and how much control we have in the relationship. The social exchange theory, according to Robarski in 2013, is a theory that explains that we continue relationships when the rewards outweigh the costs, and when the costs outweigh the rewards, we can terminate that relationship.
After the developing stage is the sustaining phase. The sustaining phase focuses on maintaining a long-term relationship. Now, one of the main challenges that the sustaining phase faces is relational dialectics. So according to Cindy Nichole and Rita Singh, relational dialectics is the tensions and opposing forces that are continuously evolving within a relationship. So I was very curious and I explored further in the idea of relational dialectics. So in a study performed by Neil Boyle on mature students, he really focused on the relational dialectics that mature students face while returning to college at a later age. The mature students are classified as any students that are the age of 23 or above. So Boyle found that one of the main dialectics that mature students often face is integration separation. Integration separation dialectic refers to mature students' desires to integrate into college life while still wanting to maintain a separate self-identity. Now, this is important for both college students in the typical age range as well as mature students. Understanding the mature students' dialectics that they are constantly struggling with will allow these typical age range of students ages 18 to 22 maintain relationships with these mature students. So understanding relational dialectics helps college students now understand what mature students are often going through. I also want to explore relational dialectics across cultures. So in a study done by Cindy Nagai and Rita Singh, found that there were relational dialectics differences between different cultures. The study focused on Chinese-speaking stakeholders of a company and English-speaking stakeholders of a company. The English-speaking stakeholders focused on dialectics involving connectivity, emotion, and openness, while the English-speaking stakeholders focus more on instrumentality and autonomy. This caused the English-speaking stakeholders to believe that Chinese company leaders would share more information with Chinese stakeholders based on the values and dialectics the Chinese culture places emphasis on. Now, this is very important for college students because many college students are going to join the workforce very soon, and most of them will work for an international company. It is important while working in an international company to understand the different cultures, different aspects each culture places emphasis on. So understanding the dialectics of the culture they are working with will help them better sustain their business relationships and in turn help them in their career.
After the sustaining stage, the last stage is called decline stage. It's very easy to form new relationships, but it's also very easy for them to decline over time. During the decline stage, a relationship deteriorates and it finally ends. So what are the reasons for which a relationship ends? There are many, many reasons for which a relationship can end, especially during college life. As I was thinking, I thought that one of the most common factors for which a relationship declines over time is when there is loss of proximity. As Beverly Fair states, she said that when there is loss of proximity, a relationship first deteriorates over time, and then it can end if the people involved don't put at least a little effort to keep the relationship alive. For example, I thought this happens frequently when college students graduate and move away. So they move away because maybe they found a new job, or maybe because they are simply going back home and they leave everybody they met behind. This relationship can go in two different ways. The relationship can still continue. The people involved are very interested in keeping the relationship alive. They keep interacting with each other. They keep talking to each other, even if they are not physically close to each other. On the other hand, the loss of proximity sometimes can be very difficult and can create a fracture in the relationship. And the people that are involved sometimes are not interested in keeping this relationship alive. And this fracture sometimes can't be repaired. So pretty much people stop talking. And I think this is a very good example about decline of a relationship, because this is very common, especially during college life, because after graduation, many students move away. And about talking about effort in a relationship is very important. As Baxter said in his study, if a person doesn't put enough effort in their relationships, it can create a fracture that sometimes can be repaired. If people are not interested in keeping a relationship alive or are not interested in other people, of course the relationship will end. I was thinking that a good example for college students is when a student goes to college for the first time. As I said, it's a new environment, and of course a student will meet new people. But sometimes what happens is people make new friends, and of course can forget about the old friends they already had before. In this case, the person is too preoccupied in creating this new relationship and sustaining it, as they focus more on the new friends, forgetting about the old ones. This can create a fracture with the other friends. And in that case, the relationship can end too, because they are not putting enough effort in keeping the old relationships alive. So at the end, talking about the decline stage, it doesn't matter if a relationship is very long or very short. A relationship can end in any way. It can, a friendship of 40 or more years can end, or even a relationship of an hour can end. It doesn't matter. What matters is that there is a stage called decline stage, and it's what happens when people don't put enough effort in a relationship, and the relationship in this case.
All right, so I'm going to be talking about the social exchange theory. And the social exchange theory is in the developing stage of the relationship, which is the second stage of the relationship stages. And I have a short video clip that's going to explain more about the social exchange theory. All right, so that was the video on the social exchange theory. So now we can dive deeper into that. So the social exchange theory is basically a theory that explains if we're going to continue a relationship, if we get more out of it than we lose. So the rewards are what we get out of the relationship, and the losing part has to do with the costs, which are negative, and the rewards are positive. So let's put this into another example. Say you have a friend, you made a friend at college, and they're really nice and they're in all your classes, but they do things to get on your nerves. So subconsciously, that person's going to be thinking, well, the things that they do to get on my nerves outweigh the positive things, like them being in all my classes and them being really nice. So if the negative costs do outweigh all the rewards, then that relationship can be terminated. And so that wouldn't move past the developing stage. But if that person can get past all the things that the person does to get on your nerves, then the rewards will outweigh the costs, and that person will continue into the relationship, and that would go into the third stage.
To conclude this presentation, there are 4 main stages: beginning, developing, sustaining, and decline. These stages relate to all types of relationships, whether that be friendships, family, romantic, or business related. All of these stages will present itself in each relationship. Now, understanding each stage is very important for students to have success with now and the future. As college students right now are in a new environment, meeting new people with different backgrounds, these stages will help navigate those students within their relationships. As well as navigating future relationships, with romantic, friends, family, or even career-related relationships. So thank you for watching this presentation. I hope you gained some valuable information that will help you in your current or future relationships.